Hello YouTube, Fred Bergeron here from Inaxsys. I hope you're doing well. We haven't seen each other for a while, but I'm back and we're going to make a lot more videos in the future. So again, thanks for watching. Inaxsys, we like to do these videos, and we like when you suggest things, and obviously we can then make more videos to based on the questions you were asking. And actually today's video, it is something that we've had requests from our sales team. When they meet dealers, sometimes the dealers, they want to have maybe a fast track way of learning tricks so that they don't have to call tech support that much. So basically in today's video, what I want to show you, it's more of an advanced configuration compared to what we've done so far. I mean, it's basically how we can trigger the elevator floors to be unlocked for a longer period of time when there's a visitor showing up at the front desk or ringing at the door. Okay, so the idea is, in this example, I'm going to use WX. We can do this exact same steps in GX as well, in Protege GX from ICT. So in other words, I'm going to use an output. In this case, it's a virtual output. And when we activate the output, it will unlock all the floors in the building for 2 minutes. Okay, so that's basically an example of how we can use these programmable functions to trigger, floor access or actually unlock floors for, let's say, the delivery guy, or Amazon, or even friends and family that are coming to visit the tenants. Okay, so let's have a look at how this is programmed. Again, I'm going to try to go slowly so you can take note of the steps, but it's something that we do almost every time we build a high-rise building system with GX or WX, and it's very useful because you can just trigger the output and then the floors will be unlocked in all the elevator cabs and all the floors for 2 minutes. It's what we call the token time. Okay, so let's have a look at how we can program this. All right, so from the home page, the first thing I did is basically was to create what I call a virtual output expander, and that's going to give me 8 or 16 virtual outputs that I can use for different applications. In this example, unlocking floors, right? So what you want to do this, you want to go to the expander wizard, go to detection, and then click on additional modules, because the module is basically virtual. All right, you just need to click on add here, and I have two options of output expanders, the 16 and the 8. So in other words, if you need less than 8 outputs for virtual applications or programmable functions, then I'm going to use PX8. Okay, I already have address 1 created, so I can use address 2 just to show you how it's done. Okay, and then the name, so it's going to be PX2. I call it, let's say, virtual, like that. Okay, and then you click on save and return to menu. So now it's going to save, apply the changes, create the module. Okay, now what's going to happen if you leave it as that is you're going to have a health issue showing that there's a module offline. So to prevent that, you go under expanders, output expanders, and I pick number 2 and I select the virtual module option. So this will do 2 things. First, it will prevent someone from actually installing a physical output expander at address 2. Okay, so you program all this, and then someone else comes later, another technician from your company, and then he will have another module with the same address. Well, then there's going to be a conflict. In this case, with enabling virtual module, then it's going to say duplicate address if you try to put address 2 in a new module. Okay, and also basically it will remove the module offline health issue. Okay, so with this, then there's no errors, there's no module to reboot, and any times it's basically just like a virtual module, because it's faster to have the module with eight outputs than trying to add the outputs one by one manually. Okay, so that's step number 1. You need that virtual output. Okay, second step, under programming outputs, I want to find these outputs from the list. You see we have PDGM Expander 2 virtual now. I had number 1 where I created this virtual output for the elevator unlock. Okay, so what I did here is I just gave it a name so that it's easy to find from the monitoring list in WX, and I gave it an output activation time of 3 seconds. All right, so this will make it so you don't have to activate and then deactivate manually the output. It's going to basically turn on and then turn off after 3 seconds. Okay, so what we're doing is we're going to follow this change of state of that output. So when the output is off and turns on, then the floor will unlock, or the floors will unlock for 2 minutes. Okay, now I'm assuming that you already have the elevator system programmed, so and then we covered this in a separate video, but you need to make sure that to have floor groups and elevator groups. Okay, so when there's a visitor, let's say if you want to unlock floor 2 to 10, this is the group that you must create. Okay, in this example, I included all floors from parking to floor 2 and 3. Okay, so that's basically called the floor group. So you go under programming, and then you go to floor groups. Okay, so I have one called all floors, and my 3 floors are in it. Okay, so this is what we will assign later in the function to trigger those floors. The second thing we need for in terms of the elevator control is the elevator group. Okay, so if you have only 1 cab or 5 cabs, you have to decide in which cabs I'm going to unlock those floors for 2 minutes. Okay, so this is done under programming and elevator groups. Okay, so I have one called all elevators, and in this setup I have only one, but if you have multiple elevators, then you can group them, and that will basically make it so depending on which cab shows up when they call the cab, it's going to then be unlocking all of them. So they don't have to find one with the floor unlocked. Everything is unlocked. So that's the thing. The next step is to create the elevator group. Now we're ready to create the programmable function. So keep in mind that this menu will not show up under automation and programmable functions, will not show up unless you have expert mode enabled. Okay, so this happens when you're done doing the online WX training. But if you're stuck and you need to have this unlocked, basically you can contact our support team and we'll help you just to unlock this controller for now. But just keep in mind that it's better if you do the training, then you're trained on all those and more advanced features are enabled by the expert mode. Okay, so that's why we have the online training for that. It's on the ICT.co website. So the function type that we're going to use, it's elevator control. Okay, make sure the mode is set to normal, because if you power cycle the controller after, let's say, a power outage, this function will start automatically. Otherwise, you have to start it every time, and it's not the best, obviously. Under elevator control, what we want is to follow pulse on. So basically, when the output is off and turns on, this is when we do the trigger. Okay, and because we've put the 3 seconds on activation time in the output, it's going to turn itself off after that time. Okay, the mode is emulate unlock menu, so it's similar to when I badge a card in the system. Okay, and basically one thing, in this case I'm going to modify it just so you see what I'm doing. So you need to stop the function before you can modify the function. Sorry, wrong menu here. Okay, and when we're done programming, you have to remember to go to this monitoring programmable function status list and then start it. So in this case, if I want to modify the function, I stop it, and I need to remember enabling it after. So here, programmable functions. So this is where you put the time. So basically, follow pulse on, because I want to follow the activation of the output. Emulate unlock menu. The output to check is the output we created earlier, okay, the one we've put the 3 seconds timing in it, the group of elevators and the group of floors. Okay, the token time is, let's say, I'm going to put something low, like 10 seconds. This is how long the floors will remain unlocked. Okay, so when it's a badge inside the cab, it's just 5 seconds. When it's let's say the concierge at the front desk activating the function, it's going to be, let's say, 1 minute or 2 minutes. You just have to evaluate how long it will take for a visitor to come from the front door or the front desk and then get to the elevator, call the elevator, and stuff. So usually 2 minutes does the trick. It may be shorter or longer in your application. You just have to test and adjust. Okay, so right now my function is all programmed. I'm saving it. Again, like I said, you see if I go in the health status of the controller, it's showing that the function is stopped. Okay, so that, again, that's a very good trick to know what's going on and what's wrong in your system. So now I want to go to programmable functions under the monitoring page, and now I'm going to start the function. Okay, if I look at the events, I should see an event that the function is now started. Okay, and if I go here under monitoring and outputs, I can find my visitor unlock output and activate it. Now it's going to show as on time because of the 3 seconds. And quickly, if I go under events, I can see that the function unlocked the floors, all floors. So the floors I had put in my group called all floors. All right. So again, it's a bit more tricky than the videos we've done maybe before, but it's something that's quite useful, whether if it's an ICT Protege GX or WX. It's very useful if there's someone at the front desk, granting visitors, and then they want to visit, a friend, so they can basically unlock. You could also create separate functions with separate virtual outputs, and then maybe one floor per function. In this case, you would only unlock the specific floor that they're trying to access. Okay, so we can do both. Everything unlocked for 2 minutes, or just specific floors. We can create up to 32 different programmable functions in WX, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so again, this was how to manually grant access to floors for visitors. I hope you liked the video. Keep in mind, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, make suggestions. We like them, and we try to always answer your questions quickly. If you need help, with getting a quote or getting a demonstration of any products that Inaxsys sells, please contact our sales team via the www.inaxsys.com website. And obviously, we have a full team of support guys waiting for your calls and ready to help you. Okay? So again, thanks for watching. My name is Fred Bergeron from Inaxsys.